The Brotherhood taught us 3 tenets. Stay your blade from the flesh of an innocent, hide in plain sight, and never compromise the Brotherhood. But there's one thing they never prepared us for. See, the core of the series isn't just the parkour or the stealth. It's the family, the friends, and the bonds we build along the way. We spend dozens of hours trusting these mentors and brothers, only letting our guard down. So when they turn on us, it just doesn't hurt the character, it feels like they betrayed us. And today, we're going through every mainline Assassin's Creed game to pinpoint the absolute worst betrayal in each of them. So if you're ready to get your heart broken all over again, let's go back to where it all began, with Altair. AC1 starts us off with one of the best betrayals in the entire franchise, and it is none other than Al-Mualim's. It's so well written that you never suspect him, not even once. He plays the role of the wise, calm mentor perfectly, always guiding Altair and protecting the Creed. The way he acts makes him look like someone whom you can trust blindly. But behind the scenes, he's doing something far more dangerous. He manipulates the entire Assassin-Templar conflict and cleverly uses Altair to kill his rivals one by one, so he can become the most powerful among all. And only when every enemy is dead, he finally reveals his true face. Al-Mualim is the textbook example of hiding in plain sight, easily the worst mentor imaginable, but hands down one of the best betrayals Assassin's Creed ever gave us. Assassin's Creed 2 gave us one of the most personal betrayals in the series. Uberto Alberti is introduced as a close friend of the Auditore family, someone Giovanni genuinely trusts and relies on. So much so that Giovanni even hands him a letter of great importance, a letter that could have saved their lives. But the moment Ezio delivers it, everything falls apart. Uberto was a next-level traitor, because he not only betrayed them, he also tried to kill Ezio by inviting him to his house as a safe place. When the day of the execution arrives, Uberto openly sides with the Templars, sealing the fate of Giovanni and Ezio's brothers. This betrayal becomes a turning point of Ezio's life, and from that moment on, everything changes, and sets him on the path that defines the rest of his history. AC Brotherhood hits us with a betrayal that honestly hurts. After AC2, fans were really starting to like the dynamic between Lucy and Desmond. Lucy saves him more than once and they start to form a bond, and she feels like someone we can trust. Then the game starts dropping subtle red flags. If you use Eagle Vision in the villa in the modern day, you can see red footprints leading outside, quietly hinting that there's an imposter among us. But nobody expects this. When Desmond finally obtains the Apple of Eden, he loses control and stabs Lucy to death. Later, we find out that she was a Templar double agent. But that knowledge doesn't soften the blow. The moment is so heavy that Desmond ends up in a coma, only surviving thanks to Subject 16 in Revelations. So it wasn't just a plot twist, it was a betrayal that changed the modern day story forever. Revelations takes us back to Altair and gives him one of the cruelest betrayals in the entire series. And to be exact, my boy Altair got played on twice. From the very beginning, Abbas and Altair never truly saw eye to eye. Their rivalry ran deep, fueled by an old family feud, and over time, it turned to pure resentment. Abbas even tries to kill Altair multiple times throughout the story, but fails. But the real betrayal comes when Abbas plays the long game. While Altair leaves to hunt Genghis Khan with his elder son Darim, Abbas is left in charge of the assassins. And that's when he strikes. He convinces the entire Brotherhood, even Altair's younger son, that Altair has been corrupted by the apple. He literally crosses the limits and executes Seth, claiming that the order was from Altair himself. And when Altair finally returns, he isn't welcomed as a mentor. He's exiled from the Brotherhood. And during this same dark period, his wife is killed in front of him, leaving Altair broken in every possible way. This wasn't just a power grab, it was the second of the 2 greatest betrayals Altair ever suffered, and one that haunted him for the rest of his life. For a good chunk of the game, Connor works alongside George Washington and even supports the Patriots during the Revolution. He believes that they're fighting for freedom, the same freedom Connor wants for his people. But everything changes after Connor reunites with his father. And with his help, Connor forces Washington to confess the truth and finds out that it was him who ordered the destruction of several Native American villages in the past and burned them to the ground. And one of those villages was Connor's, the same attack that led to his mother's death. In that moment, Connor's trust in Washington completely shatters. He breaks their alliance, realizing that the man he believed in was no different from the others. And the damage doesn't stop there. This betrayal pushes Connor to kill his childhood best friend, believing he had turned against his own people. It marks the beginning of Connor's loneliness, a path where he keeps fighting for others even when everyone keeps letting him down. From beginning to end, Edward Kenway is obsessed with finding the observatory. He chases it like a madman, going to extreme lengths and burning every bridge along the way. His best hope is the Sage, the one man who knows its exact location. When Edward finally finds him and frees him, the two actually grow close. They fight together, share victories, and over time, Edward starts to trust him. And that's when it all falls apart. The Sage, or Roberts, gives Edward the location, and he even lets him see the observatory. But when Edward thinks he has accomplished his mission, the Sage throws him, hands him over to the British, and leaves him to be hanged. The betrayal cuts even deeper when you remember this. The only reason Edward survives is because Atabai and the assassins come to save him, the very people Edward himself betrayed earlier. That moment breaks him and forces Edward to finally confront his choices, and it's where he leaves behind a life of plunder and prizes, and starts becoming something more than a pirate. AC Rogue is built entirely around betrayal. If we call it AC Betrayal, then we're not wrong. The biggest betrayal is Shay betraying the assassins themselves. You can't argue whether the Brotherhood was right or wrong, but one thing's for sure, a betrayal is a betrayal. The moment Shay decides to steal the manuscript, everything changes. He's shot, left for dead, and later saved by the Finnegans, an elderly couple who nurse him back to health. When Shay regains his senses, he finds himself drawn to the Templars. Their ideology makes sense to him, protecting innocent lives instead of blindly following orders. And once he officially joins them, Shay goes all in. He begins hunting down and killing the very assassins he once fought beside, even those who had nothing to do with the destruction of Lisbon, including Adewale. And that's what makes this betrayal so uncomfortable. The game quietly hints that Shay isn't just changing sides, he's slowly becoming corrupted himself. In the end, his betrayal is both right and wrong at the same time, which is exactly why it still sparks debate among the fans. Assassin's Creed Unity gives us a betrayal that comes from within the Brotherhood. On the surface, Belek feels like a straightforward character. He's Arno's mentor, highly aggressive, and a full-on extremist. But once you understand his past, his hatred starts to make sense. Belek despises the Templars because of the Purging Rogue. To him, there's no such thing as peace with them. So when Unity introduces the idea of a truce, one that actually works for a time, Belek already sees it as a mistake. But everything changes after De La Serre's murder. Arno was raised by him after his father's death, and also he was Elise's father and a Templar. On common ground, Arno and Elise work together to find the killer. To push that goal further, Arno brings Elise before the Assassin Council, and surprisingly they agree, but Belek doesn't. Instead, he poisons Mirabeau, the head of the assassins, and when Arno uncovers the truth, Belek even tries to kill him, his own student. That's what makes this betrayal hit hard. Belek wasn't completely wrong, but betraying his own brothers crossed a line. And in the Brotherhood, that's a sin you cannot come back from. In AC's Syndicate, Maxwell Roth starts out as an enemy, but not the kind you expect. He's the leader of the rival gang, Blighters, and just like Jacob, he's sick of Starrick running London. So when Roth offers an alliance, Jacob takes the bait. For a while, it actually works. They fight together, and it feels like Roth might be one of those rare frenemy situations. But Roth was never interested in justice at all. He was using Jacob the entire time, slowly tearing down Starrick's control so that he could claim London for himself at the end. His methods were completely unhinged, as he was totally willing to blow up a building full of child laborers just to make a point. The real betrayal comes when Roth tries to burn down a music hall packed with innocents and Jacob still inside. That's when it finally clicks. Jacob realizes that this was never an alliance, it was manipulation. So Jacob kills him, not out of revenge, but because leaving him alive would mean letting London burn. Origins hits hard with a betrayal that's as political as it is personal. Bayek and Naya spend the entire story working alongside Cleopatra, helping her remove the order from Egypt. Cleopatra proves to be a valuable ally, promising Bayek that he'll get his revenge and that she'll remove her brother from the throne. To do this, she enlists the help of Caesar, who, unbeknownst to Bayek, is head of the Order of the Ancients. One of Caesar's lieutenants, Septimius, is directly tied to Khemu's murder. Upon finding this out, Bayek tries to take revenge, but Caesar intervenes. And here's the betrayal. Septimius is never executed nor punished. He's alive and being protected by Cleopatra, who is now fully allied with Caesar. That moment hits Bayek and Aya like a punch to the gut. The woman they trusted has sided with the very people responsible for their pain. It's this betrayal that pushes Bayek to create the Hidden Ones, the beginning of the famous assassin and order rivalry we know throughout history. AC Odyssey delivers a betrayal that sneaks up on you, even when though the game has no concept of stealth. Throughout the game, Aspasia helps Cassandra, giving her hints, advice, and support in taking down the Order, or we should say the cult. She comes across as a loyal ally, someone you can trust. But after Cassandra eliminates the entire cult, the shocking truth comes out. Aspasia herself was the leader of the cult. Every move, every step was part of her plan to wipe out the cult for her own reasons. The cult literally destroyed Cassandra's family, yet she had the audacity to act as if she were on Cassandra's side the entire time. And that's exactly the subtle genius of this betrayal. In the end, you're given two choices, either kill her or spare her. And the canon choice is sparing her. In Valhalla, for most of the game, Basim acts like a friend, like traveling to England with us under the guise of establishing a new Hidden One sect and mentoring Eivor. He earns her trust, even bonds with Sigurd and seems genuinely invested in helping. But in the end, the truth comes out. Basim wasn't their friend at all. He was waiting for them to discover who they truly are so he could kill them himself. Every bit of help he offered, every friendly gesture was part of a plan. He was a frenemy from the start. Cold, calculated, and mischievous in a way the Assassin's Creed series rarely shows. By the time the betrayal lands, it's clear. Basim isn't just an antagonist, he's a villain who plays the long game, and he did it flawlessly. In AC Mirage, the relationship between Basim and Roshan is anything but simple. They have this intense student and master bond, but it's layered with tension from the start. Roshan pushes Basim to confront his bad memories of the Jinn, but deep down, she already knows who he really is. When Basim finally learns the truth about himself through the Order's head, Roshan confronts him, and even threatens to kill him if he doesn't follow her guidance. Basim feels betrayed. The person he trusted the most as a mentor isn't afraid to take his life if he steps out of line. But the situation spirals even further. Roshan actually lives up to her threat, forcing Basim to fight her. In the end, Basim defeats his mentor and discovers his true status as a sage. Roshan resigns from her position, and later in Valhalla's DLC, she's shown reflecting on her choices, hinting at the weight of what she said and the impact of their tragic, complicated bond. In the entire game, Mitsuhide represents himself as Naoe's ally, guiding, supporting, and even manipulating her into believing that his rival Oda Nobunaga is secretly the head of the Order, and convinces her that it was exactly him who killed his father, which fueled her drive for revenge even more. Naoe then carries out her mission successfully, thinking she struck a blow against evil, but the truth hits her like a dagger. Mitsuhide deceived her the entire time. He's actually aligned with the Order. By manipulating Naoe into eliminating the most powerful man in Japan, Mitsuhide clears his path to take over the throne. This betrayal sets the stage for the rest of the game and kickstarts Naoe's quest to hunt down the Templars, proving how dangerous a trusted ally can really be. And this marks the end of this video. We hope you guys enjoyed it, and according to you, which betrayal was the most evil? We're hoping to see your reaction in the comment section below, and if you love our channel, then make sure to subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care and goodbye.